Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. We got a surprising treat for you today as we have the Reina trailer for Tekken 8. Reina is the latest in the long line of the Mishima family. Yes, Heihachi had even more kids, and she is the final character of Tekken 8. A bit of a mix of old and new, as she very clearly has many Heihachi moves, as we'll cover in the trailer breakdown, but she also has a lot of stuff that is fully unique to her. So as you would expect, we're going to do the whole trailer breakdown thing, but first there is a few things to note about Tekken 8 in general. One, all the characters that got announced but didn't have a trailer will be getting their own trailers. So into the lead up of the game, you can expect all these people to get their own trailer. And for me personally, I'm very excited because I like the oddball characters. So Kuma and Panda, I want to see what they can do and what's new. Especially Kuma, because Kuma shares a trait with Reina, as we'll cover later in the video. Now, as for Reina, we mentioned that Reina is a mix of her own stuff and Heihachi. So her own martial art is called Taido. Taido is a real world martial art, lots of movement, lots of like knife hand edge moves, and a lot of what you're seeing in this clip here will be moves you'll be seeing in the trailer. Very faithfully recreated in the game. And as for Reina herself, her attitude is very seemingly self-confident in almost the arrogant way, very much like Heihachi. Not necessarily crazy girl like Juri or Melina or something like that, just arrogant, she's good and she knows it. And before we get directly into the breakdown here, how many kids does Heihachi have exactly? Well, this old tweet was dug up. And according to Harada, Heihachi has about 18 to 25 kids. And he himself can confirm at least 9. And as for Reina herself, apparently she's been in the oven for a while, as she was originally conceived during the Tekken 7 development cycle. And now come Tekken 8, she gets to make her debut. Also, her character design was by one Mary Shimazaki, who is also the creator of Bayonetta. So there's some pedigree there, at least as far as the style goes. So now, all that said, let's rewind the video a little bit here and break down the whole trailer, because there's a lot of really cool stuff here. So opening up the trailer, we get a hint of a new stage. And this is very similar to like the Mishima Dojo stage in previous games, except there's this guy. Doesn't this look an awful lot like Akuma? Well, I would say so. In fact, in Tekken 7, Akuma has an outfit that's even somewhat similar to this. And this is as good of a point as any to remind y'all that Akuma is not a guest character in Tekken. I repeat, not a guest character. He is a canonical part of the Tekken universe. So who's to say he never shows up again? He just might. Now we see here opening up, we have Reina doing the pose on the chair. And what pose am I talking about? This is the Mishima family chair pose. Doing the whole Conan the Barbarian seeming disinterested but I'm really cool kind of deal. So that chair pose basically runs in the family. Also with the big fancy chair, raises the lore question of, is she now in charge of the Mishima Zaibatsu? In Tekken 7, Heihachi was once again in control of the Zaibatsu and he died. So someone's got to be in charge. And legitimately, if it's not her, it's Kuma. Kuma's story literally is in Tekken 8, if you do not know. He's working with what remains of the Zaibatsu to create an anti-devil weapon, which is probably the silly fish you see in the trailers. So we gotta wait for the story, I guess, when the game comes out, but someone's always gotta be running the Mishima Zaibatsu. That's kind of how Tekken works. So if it's not the literal friggin' bear, it's probably Reina. That's my guess anyways, because she has the fancy chair. And the bigger and fancier your chair is, that means the more powerful you are. That's just how it is. I don't make the rules. Now everyone in Tekken 8 has a cool nickname, and for Reina it is Purple Lightning, and fair enough, because she has all sorts of purple, and her lightning, her Mishima lightning, is purple as well. So as advertised. So now for proper gameplay, the first thing we see out of her is basically a stance. So she's basically doing evasive movement like the Taido demonstration I showed earlier in the video. And then a little bit of a cartwheel which goes over Fang's low. And you're going to notice that throughout this video, this is going to be a theme, that other than the Heihachi style moves, she's very much about evasion. And it seems that this stance very much plays into that exact fact. After the cartwheel evade, we see going directly into those Taido style kicks as well. So once again, this is very much a lot of her core moveset Taido based. Now, going back to that evasion theme, so she goes for quick attack here and very much goes for a command duck. This is definitely not a normal crouching animation. So this is effectively another stance. We don't see what happens. and that she just recovers fully from it after the fact. So if there's moves from it, we don't know, but still, once again, keeping with the evasive theme. And then she goes into full-on Doomslayer mode, and by that I mean she's going full-on rip and tear here. Just ripping into his guts and then going for another Taido style kick. So you can see she gets pretty vicious on the moveset as well, right? It's not just all acrobatics. Next up here, quickly blocking Jun's move, going for a big old mule kick and then a follow-up. So the mule kick here crushes the high and on counter hit launches. That's handy. And it looks like she has a little bit of a command roll. And from the command roll here, big punch. And our last move, we had a high crush, and now we have a low crush with this giant spinning kick. So it definitely tracks by the look of it, has that claw effect. And yeah, so just lots of moves with evasive properties. Speaking of which, here's another big flipping kick going over Leroy's low and then blasting him in the side of the head. So options to go under highs, options to go over lows. She seemingly has a bunch of those. Now going up into a sequence with Lars. First off, got to think about the Mishima family tree here, right? So Lars would be her brother, her half-brother, I suppose, but still, her brother. That's weird to think about, and we'll get weirder as we go on. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so blocks a quick move, then we have this sequence. So we have a bit of a knife edge electric chop and a big boot, and the boot does chip damage and seems to be a bit plus, which is handy because Reina goes for a regular throw while Lars is hitting a button, and if you hit a throw as a counter hit in this game, it becomes way harder to break, and well, she throws him. So brings him down to the ground, and once again displaying that Mishima electric power, purple and gold lightning. So now here comes the weird part. Meet Jin! So of course Mishima, Jin, like they would meet each other, right? As Heihachi's daughter, that means she is Jin's aunt, despite the fact that she's younger than him. So Lars is Jin's uncle, Reina is Jin's aunt, which makes things very confusing. Thanks, Grandpa Heihachi. And hey, speaking of Grandpa Heihachi, we got the first Heihachi move. She has the Mishima Forward 3. So she has quite a few Heihachi inspired moves, this being the first of which, and for her also, this is a heat engager. So runs forward after the engager, big boot, knocks down, does a heat dash, burning the heat, and looks like she has a knockdown only attack after the fact. Now next up we see a series of kicks here, more Taido style kicks. The first one goes under Jin's high, so once again more evasion. And the third one here, you can see when she's going for it, the heat dispersion means the third kick is only possible because she is in the heat mode, or it's otherwise buffed while she's in the heat mode. So crumple on the wall break, we're going to get a launcher, and then we just get this wild string of attacks here, ending with a big old purple and gold lightning explosion. Now here, it's time for more Heihachi influence. So a big walloping headbutt is not necessarily the most ladylike attack, but it's exactly what Heihachi does, and this is directly out of his moveset. So after the heat engager, because the headbutt's a heat engager, runs forward, and we see what appears to be the classic Mishima Hell Sweep. So the Hell Sweep and then follows up into like a knife edge chop. Heihachi has a Hell Sweep too naturally, but well, so does all the Mishimas. After the chop, you see her enter what appears to be a stance, which is fairly handy because she's in heat mode and we're about to see the heat smash. So it burns up all the heat, and this appears to be another Hell Sweep style move, and then slams them down to the ground. Definitely a low starter, as you can see, and the animation's pretty elaborate, looks like it does a lot of damage. So if she's in heat mode, watch your toes, because a random low might be the end of your life. And now, striking a bit of a pose, very reminiscent of Heihachi, she meets Kazuya. So another weird age gap thing. Hello, my brother who's 30 years older than me. Heihachi was prolific his whole life, right? So he has generations of children. So I guess it's not that weird, at least by Tekken standards anyways. And Reina is not scared of Kazuya at all. In fact, she seems to relish the fact that she gets to fight him. Looks like she's been looking forward to this for a little bit. So here, if you needed any final proof that she's a Mishima, she has the Electric Wind God Fist. And yes, it has all the electric stuff, her color-coded, because Kazuya is blue and she's purple and gold. Every Mishima has to have their own color, right? Jin is red. And this will be the ultimate test if you're truly the Reina main or not, right? So, gotta practice your execution. Electrics are not easy. So, after we land the electric, it's combo time. So, we got a quick string here, goes for the tailspin relaunch, and then we go for a heat burst, and now we're in heat mode, and this is where things get interesting. So it looks like Reina has 2 heat smashes, not unheard of. There's a couple characters that do, but one for her stance that we saw earlier and one just in regular neutral. So on the startup, we see here, we have another lone move from Heihachi. Don't know if she could do it by herself without it being the heat smash, but still, it's there. And the actual animation is just brutal, just ripping you in the ground, like almost like Broly style, and then just smashing the enemy, which in this case is a wall break, which is handy. And hey, more Heihachi moves. So this is Heihachi's 1+2. And also, this is not the only Mishima child that inherits this move from Heihachi in this game. Heihachi's daughter has this move, and so does his son. His true son. See, I told you it would be coming back to Kuma. I wasn't lying about that, right? So Kuma, by the way, is also another character that is inheriting Heihachi's moveset. This is why I'm really looking forward to that trailer. He's also wearing Heihachi's gi, as you can see here. So Reina and Kuma, this brother-sister combo, is going to take over the world of Tekken. And more Heihachi stuff coming up here. So after a block, she goes into Raijin stance. So this is another Heihachi lone move. And basically, it's a quick stance with an auto parry attached to it. The parry effect is much more pronounced in Tekken 8, which is good. Lets both players know what's up really fast, I guess. Reina also has a Heihachi style of dragon uppercut. We also have this interesting piece of business. So quick string goes into a stance, right? And from that stance, she gets blasted, but tougher than she looks. This is a counter stance and another lone move from Heihachi. So Heihachi could basically do a counter where he takes the hit and then just kicks you away like trash, except Reina's a lot more mean about it and just stomping you. Also, she's in heat state here, right? And you can see the heat flash after the fact. So either this counter is only possible while you're in the heat state, or perhaps the extra vicious follow-up is only possible while you're in the heat state. Either way, big counter, no martial arts here. She just takes the hit and then blasts you back. And hey, ending out, you've seen enough Tekken 8 trailers at this point, I'm sure. This is Rage Art time. The thing is, her Rage Art, pretty flashy. So the first bit, you know, kick, punch, it's all in the mind, right? But after the boot, this is where we get a little weird. So now we're in like a big purple hellscape, and she goes for the finishing knife edge chop blow here, and yeah, a little bit of a serious business, almost Akuma-like, if you would. And now all the family electric colors are here, purple, blue, and red. Is there meaning to that? I don't know, but let's rewind a little bit to that weird shadow form. So going for the big knockout blast, and then we see this. And some would say the outline specifically, red eyes and kind of V-shape up, that's Heihachi himself. It does sort of match his silhouette. I'll let you be the judge on that one. And that is the Reina trailer. So confident, badass lady, Mishima descendant, Heihachi's daughter, probably a whole bunch of other adjectives I could add in there as well. Not too many all new characters in Tekken 8, sure. But between Azucena, Victor, and now Reina, I think all the newcomers are kind of hitting it out of the park. You know, the Tekken 7 newcomers, maybe not so much, you know, considering they're basically not here. I guess we have Claudio, but the majority of the newcomers are not appearing again. So less newcomers, but more impactful newcomers, I think is the way to go. But as far as Reina goes, a character that carries on Heihachi's legacy, I think she definitely has it, has a lot of key core moves of Heihachi, and has an electric, so she's a Mishima, but still very much her own thing as well, with all the evasiveness in her moveset with the Taido martial art, and just seems pretty cool. Since we're adding even more Mishimas to the mix, remains to be seen where the story will go, probably very silly, as Tekken is wont to do. But this is all leading in a very interesting direction, and as far as Tekken 8's launch goes, we do not have to wait too much longer, as the game is indeed out in January. And we're like almost middle of November now, which means, you know, Christmas is right around the corner. I know that's scary, but hey, time flies fast. But that is the breakdown of the trailer, and that is Reina. So let me know what you think about the character in the comments below, what you're expecting out of her, what you hope out of her, and otherwise we are at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Tekken.